everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Amber Westbrook, and in today's video, I am doing something that I have never done before. I have always wanted to learn how to write really simple code, and I've always wanted to use little circuit boards to solder up to really cool little gadgets to make all kinds of things. Basically, code lights, code macro pads, code all sorts of things. But it's a pretty intimidating task. I do already know how to design and print in 3D, so that shouldn't be a problem at all when I'm creating new things. So all I have to do is learn how to use LEDs, learn about power and voltage, and learn about soldering, and learn about coding Python. It's a lot to learn. I have had quite a bit of a start already, so I decided to make this video because I am going to go through the process of making a small little macro pad with a turn knob on it and 4 little keys so that I can use my OBS software and switch different screens with the keys, kind of like how a Streamdeck would work. And then it's going to have a little knob for scrolling and for volume, and then when I edit my videos in Premiere, it'll have an alt scroll function so I can scroll sideways and up and down in Premiere as well. It's a really big endeavor, but I am sure that I can handle it. So the first step on my journey is to design the 3D box. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in Blender. And then the second step that I'm going to do after I design the 3D box in Blender is to learn the physical components. So I'm going to try and make a little LED light with a switch, just something really simple so I can understand the basic mechanics of how soldering and all that stuff works, because I'm really intimidated to solder for the first time. But all that being said, I'm going to get started in Blender right now. Alright, so the 3D print is designed, it's printing, and soon I will have my box for all my components to go in. So now I have gone online and I've ordered a few things. I've ordered a Raspberry Pi Pico, which is a very little board that's going to be the brain of my entire macro pad. I've ordered a bunch of wires, a little rotary encoder, which basically you just twist, and I have some switches, which are the mechanical piece that you put the keyboard key on top of that clicks down and up, and I got the really loud clicky ones, which I think is going to be really fun. And I actually already had like the LEDs and stuff that are coming in the next step, because right now I just have to solder for the first time. And it's pretty intimidating. I've actually had a soldering iron for like a long time and I have not used it because I was afraid. But you know what? It is time. I'm going to use it. It's gonna happen and it's gonna be so worth it. So in order to practice and learn how to do soldering and to see if my knowledge of LEDs and lights and stuff is accurate, I'm just gonna really quickly prototype like a little LED light that has a little switch on it, and it's gonna plug into a USB. It's gonna be 5 volts, and I'm gonna practice resistors, I'm gonna practice LEDs, I'm gonna practice switches, I'm gonna practice USB soldering, and most of all just soldering in general and like heat shrink tubing and all of that. So, no time like the present, better get started. Okay, I'm like so nervous about this. Okay, so let's get, ooh, there's a hair. Let's get the little resistor in there. Okay, that looks like it's gonna be enough. I hope so. Let's see. Okay, so let me just move my little layout over to the side. I have all my little pieces laid out in the order that I need to solder them. So it basically said on all the million videos that I watched that you're supposed to heat up this wire and then add the tin. Huh! I did it! Wow, that actually worked really well. Look at that! I am not mad about that at all. Okay, so then I have this piece of heat shrink tubing. So I'm gonna put this over the whole thing Like, and even cover the resistor because I'm gonna put another piece on after this. Okay, well, that's as good as it's gonna get for right now. Okay, so now the next step is the on-off switch. All right, let me just put this other little piece of the wire in. Okay, cool. Now let's do this again. So I just heat up the wires a little bit like this. I think that'll do it. As you can see, I am still definitely not a pro at this, but I mean, that wasn't so bad. Okay, now I'm just going to heat this one up too. I wonder if the lighter works better or worse. I see people using a lighter all the time, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try using a lighter. Oh no, I melted it. Okay, yeah, definitely never using a lighter again. I think it's still fine. But look, I melted it. It's like burned. Oh, that's sad. Okay, now that I've melted my wire, time to do the next step. Okay, so that's on first. And then we're going to put it onto the switch because I want this little light thing to have a switch. All right, this is ready. And this one is a little bit more intimidating because it's actually onto this switch thingy. Okay, that looks pretty soldered to me. That little connection came out kind of good. You know what, I'm having a lot less fear about this soldering thing than I was when I first got all this stuff, because I've been putting this off for a long time because I was really afraid. Okay, well there is part of my circuit. So I have my little LED, and then inside here is the resistor. So this can take now up to about 5 volts, which is good because I'm going to make it into like a little USB, which is 5 volts. And then it goes into here, which is the on-off switch. And then I just need to continue the circuit down to the ground. So this is my cord that's going to connect to the USB. So this side is going to go to the USB, and then this is going to like connect over the USB connection. So there's going to be a USB port right here, then covered with this heat shrink. And then over on this side, this is the positive side that's going to connect to the diode, and then this is the negative side. So this is going to be the ground side. This is the side that we've been working on the whole time. Okay, I think that should be good. They're all lined up. So now, once again, every time I do this, I get really nervous. I'm just like, I'm gonna mess it up. But you know what? It's gonna be okay. Every time I do it, it's so scary, but then it turns out to be not as hard as I thought. Okay, well, great news. The negative side of my little connection is done. I guess we're gonna find out soon enough whether it actually works. All right, I'm just gonna temporarily slide this over my little diode. Okay, I think this will actually look good because this right here is gonna connect with this, and then I'll have like a little three-way thing. So this will be the switch, and then this will be the little light. Okay, this is the last positive wire before we get to the USB part, so let's hope this comes out good. And I also decided that I'm just gonna put another like piece of heat shrink tube around this little connection, because otherwise it was a Y connection and the wires were out, so this way it'll be all cleaned up. Okay, now that that end is done, we're going to attach, and I wrote on here which one is the ground and which one is the power. So remember, black is ground and red is power. So I'm just gonna go ahead and solder those on there. And here we go again. I really didn't expect it, I'm not gonna lie. This is the first time I've ever soldered anything in my life, and I was actually really scared to start, but like, look at that. That looks like a perfect solder. Honestly, this is crazy. Wow. Okay, so now I just have to put the casing together. Okay, and now all the wires are safely inside, and I'm gonna hold it right here and heat shrink it, and then we get to try it and see if it works, because I did not test this beforehand. So if it doesn't work, guess we're just starting over. All right, well, there she is. One LED diode, an on-off switch, a teeny tiny little cable, and a 5-volt USB. So I guess we're about to find out if this is gonna work or not. All right, so here's the moment of truth. I don't know if it's going to turn on or off or not, but we'll see, I guess. All right, is it gonna turn on? Aw, it doesn't work. Well, there's one thing to be learned from this, is that now I know how to solder. Okay, so I figured out why this didn't work. It's because I am silly and I had soldered one to the outside pin instead of the inside pin. So I'm gonna resolder it, and then I think that it'll work after that. I'm gonna have to wrap it up in like electrical tape though, because it's all already built, so I won't have the option to add heat shrink. So let's just work on that, and then it should work. I hope it does. I did a couple of other like little tests and they worked out just fine. So let's see. All right, should we try it? I don't know if it'll be off or on. I guess we'll find out. It works! That was the issue! Look, it turns on! And then it has the on-off button. It works! Oh, I'm so glad I figured it out. Yay! It works! And that's very exciting. Oh, I'm glad I figured it out. Mostly, I just can't believe that I didn't have it right in the first place. So this is the part in the video where I completely forget to film anything because I'm so overwhelmed with trying to solder things. So I decided to solder all the little wires on the back of my switches for my little key number pads. And I also decided to solder the ground and all 4 wires from the keys into the board. And as you'll find out later in the video, I did make a mistake. I was supposed to solder the black wire to a power instead of to a ground, but yeah, I'll find that out, don't you worry. All right, I am gonna plug it in and see if this code that I downloaded is gonna work, because kind of, not exactly a moment of truth, but it's pretty close. Okay, so in order for this to work, I'm gonna have to have a few edits, because this code I got doesn't have the same inputs. We're gonna have to change just a couple things. So I don't have a NeoPixel. I'm gonna delete everything that has to do with the pixel, and then I'm gonna change the buttons. So I have 4 buttons, so I'm just gonna delete the last 2. I'm gonna be using different controls. They're gonna be keyboard inputs, not consumer control inputs, but I can change that code later after I find out whether this actually works or not. Okay, it looks like that might actually work. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this. This is the problem when you don't understand any of this code, because I don't know how to fix what's wrong. Okay, so here's the situation. I actually went back and did a whole bunch of things, learned some new stuff, which is always good, did so much with the code, and I couldn't get it to work, and I couldn't get it to work, and I couldn't get it to work. And then I realized that the problem was with my board. So this little board right here didn't have the proper power. I was thinking that you didn't have to put the switches into power, that you could just put them into ground. But apparently I was mistaken very badly, and I was like, you know, I think that I had to put them in power. So I put them in a power socket, soldered it in, and now it works great. So it works as intended. You can see the little mess of wires I have going here. Now I have a rotary encoder coming tomorrow, which is like the little knob that you turn. So I will be compiling the entire little box, but I thought in the meantime I might show you what I have so far. So this is the box that holds the actual components and the cables and everything. All of these parts are designed and 3D printed, as you saw. So basically, this is the little box part, and then these are not the correct keycaps. I have other keycaps printing, but these ones will work in the meantime. When my rotary encoder comes and I'm able to put the little knob on and put it all together, I'm going to assemble it, and we're going to see if the code that I wrote actually works. So stick with me. It's been days and days and days of me working on this, and I'm really excited to see it all come together. Okay, now that I have all of the code figured out and I have all the pieces 3D printed, everything is ready to go, I'm just waiting on one more part. So while I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and paint and decorate what I do have. I'm gonna use gel nail polish because I have a little bit of experience with gel, and I think it'll be fun to dress all this up with, you know, some little bling, some colors, some stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and dress up my little box so that when my rotary encoder does get here and I can install the knob, that everything will be pretty and sparkly and happy. Okay, so this is my lid, and I think I might just leave the box and the lid both plain. Here's the little box with all the switches in it. I think I'm going to leave these plain, and then I'm going to decorate my keycaps and my knobs so that this can be pink and then these can be like a coordinating color. Okay, so I have my little nail lamp right here, and that's going to cure the UV when it's ready to go. And I have a couple of brushes I'm gonna use, and I think I'm gonna do the letters in white and then the heart in sparkly pink, and then maybe do something with some rhinestones. Alright, that's great for the first little layer, so let's go ahead and cure that, and then we will go ahead and do some more of the layers. Okay, I'm just gonna do one more layer on this white. I think I might use this really cool sparkly pink color. It looks a little orange on the camera, but it's very pink. It goes really well with the color of the actual 3D print. Alright, that is actually looking kind of awesome. So let's go ahead and cure that. Okay, then I have all of these sequins, and I think I'm going to use either these ones or these bubble looking ones. I have to kind of hold them up. I'm not sure which one I like better. I think I like the little gem better. So I'm gonna put a layer of gel glue, and then I'm gonna stick all of these little rhinestones on. And because I'm going to be like using this and holding it and touching it all the time because it is a knob, I think what I'm going to do is encase the entire thing in UV resin so that it's smooth, everything is held inside, and it's not going to go anywhere. And the jewels will still be shiny on the inside because it's clear, so I'm just going to go ahead and encase the entire thing right now. Okay, it is all done. Look how pretty it is. It's so shiny and pretty. Oh, I love it. This is going to be the perfect little knob. And with that being done, I think I am now ready to work on the keys. I think what I'm going to do is use some of my nail foils, because I tested this out earlier and it actually worked out pretty good on the bottom of this resin. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pick out some of my foils and put them on here. But in order to do that, I think I want a base of white. So I'm actually going to paint all of these white. And yes, I could have printed them in white, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So I just went ahead and printed them in pink, but I'm going to paint them white. I think actually I can get away with just painting the top. So I'm just going to do that. Alright, I'm just gonna put a second coat on, and then comes the fun part of deciding which one of my many foils I want to put on these. Alright, let me just set these aside for a moment, and let's get into it. Okay, so I don't know if I want any of these. These are all like flowers and butterflies, so I can get out these ones. There are so many. I have so many different kinds. Ooh, look at this one. Ooh, that's amazing. Okay, let's see. There's some other ones that kind of look like it. But there's also... oh, this is very hard to choose. Apparently, I'm leaning towards animal print. This is what's happening right now. So then there's this one, and then there's these two as well. Well, there's this one and this one. Although I don't really like this one as much. I don't like this one as much. I'm trying to narrow down because I like all of them, so it's tricky. Well, I do have this one, and this one would go well on the white because it's see-through. Or we have these like really cool holographic ones. This one's cool, but this one is pink and hot pink. Although I don't know if this is the right color. I might have to save this for something else. Yeah, that color is not exactly right for this project. Oh, but I do love it though. Okay, so I think maybe this one seems to match the best. I think I'm gonna go with this one. Okay, so this one is the winner. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut out some squares where I want the design to be on my little keys. Okay, so I want one that has this big flower on it, and then we'll do mostly the leopard print with one little flower. All right, let's do one that has like half and half. I think I'll do one more with like this flower thing going off the edge. And then I have a little bit left that I can actually use on a nail sometime if I want to do a nail set. Okay, I do really love this. This is amazing. Okay, so now that I have the colors that I'm going to be using and they're all cut out, I'm going to just set these to the side and I'm going to paint on the nail art foil glue onto the top of these. All right, let me just cure these and then we're going to put the foils on. Okay, I'm so excited. All right, let's place our first one. And worst case scenario, it doesn't work out and we can like rub it off and find another option, another solution, another design, whatever. I am not too worried about it because I mess these up on my nails sometimes. My nails still turn out fine. So let's go with this one first. And then I have this little silicone thing and I'm just going to kind of rub this on here so it all transfers. Are we ready for the big reveal? Here we go. It's so good. Shut up. That transferred so perfect. Oh my god. Oh, I can't even believe it. Look at that. What? Oh my god. Okay. All right, let's do the others. Let's do the others. All right, are we ready for reveal number 2? Let's hope this one comes out as good as the other one. Ready? Oh my god. I like honestly have never in my life seen that stuff come off so easily. That is amazing. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna give this a cap of UV resin so it's nice and smooth and domed over the top. Oh, they are so perfect. They're nice and shiny and they're totally protected, so they're gonna last a very long time because that UV resin is durable. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and add these on to my little board. Oh, they're so satisfying! And I'm not going to quite put this on yet, but just so you get an idea of how it's going to look, and there's still a little bit of space, so it'll go a little bit further down. These are my little buttons, and then this is the little twist knob. So it'll be like twisty, twisty, clickety, clackety. Oh, it's going to be so fun. And while I was working on that, my Rotary encoder came, and this fits on so perfectly to this Rotary encoder. It's a little loose because nothing is screwed together, but oh my gosh, this is gonna be amazing. Look at that! I can't believe I made this. This is one of the coolest things I've ever made. I am kind of blown away. I can't even believe this. Okay. Before I get ahead of myself, I have to go in and solder the Rotary encoder to my little board, make sure that it works, test it all out, and then I can assemble the final assembly. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, because these have these little things that stick out of them, I'm going to use this kind of cable to attach it, and I'm just gonna bend these down a little bit, and I'm going to attach these little things onto all of these little things and see how well these work. I've never used these before. Oh, they seem to stay on pretty good actually. All right, let's go ahead. I'm gonna have to take this whole thing out of here so that I can solder onto this board. Let me get out my little holder thingy. I'm gonna go ahead. This is the last step. It's so exciting. I got this and 4 more wires and then it'll be ready to go. Now before I enclose it all in this box, I'm gonna test the code. And I have a sneaking suspicion that it might not work. But you know what? That's okay. I'm gonna not freak out if it doesn't work, and I will fix it just like last time. I don't really know how to code, so I know how to do really simple commands, and I know how to copy and paste other people's code. So I actually learned how to do the button part myself, but the code for the Rotary encoder to twist and stuff, I did not write that code. I will actually link the YouTube video that this 3D model box and the code for the scroller came from. So if you want to make one, you are more than welcome to make one. So let's plug it in and see if it's going to work. Okay, so my buttons are working. All right, and now I'm just going to see if this... Okay, well, the scroll works. All right, let me play something in my headphones. Let's see if the volume works. It works. Oh, the code works. That is amazing. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and save this, and I can exit out of this code. Okay, so it totally works. So I can now unplug this, and now I get to build it all in the box, and it'll be all done. Oh my gosh. I honestly can't believe that this is like working. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take my teeny tiny little screwdriver, and then a teeny tiny little screw, and I gotta screw the little rotary encoder into the lid right here. All right, and this takes an M2 screw, so I just have to figure out which one of these is an M2. All right, I got two really teeny tiny screws. It is minuscule. That is so small. It's like the size of like one of the gems on my nail. All right, let's see if we can get this in here. I'm gonna go ahead and put those teeny tiny little screws in. I feel like these screws are a little small. I'm gonna put a little bit bigger one. These are M3 screws instead of M2 screws. Even though they said M2, it didn't fit. Oh yeah, this one definitely has a lot more resistance. Okay, now I'm just gonna put a little bit of hot glue. Oh no! I like yanked out a bunch of my things. All right, I have to resolder those on there because in my haste, I yanked out a bunch of my cords from the board. Now that I have resoldered that whole entire thing. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and put a little dot of glue right here. And I'm gonna put a little bit of glue along these edges as well. All right, that's glued down so it won't budge when I shove all these cords under there. This is an interesting adventure. I think I have it. Now, the real test is going to be after we plug it all in. So let me just put this little knob on. All right, let me plug this bad boy in. Let me open a notepad. Okay, notepad is open. All right, let's see if it scrolls. Okay, that works. Oh, all the buttons work. Oh, I can't believe it. I honestly, after all that I've been through with this project, I made this. This is probably by far the coolest thing I have ever made. It works on the computer, the code worked, and I designed the keycaps myself, and I designed the knob myself. And this is literally, I can't believe it. I can't believe that I made this. I am so proud of myself. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching my wins and my fails as I made the coolest little macro scrolly keypad ever. It is awesome. I'm super happy. So thanks for coming along on this journey with me, and I'll see you in the next video.